Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hivemind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, there was a meme for a while that the president was pushing out there called Where's Hunter? He was selling t-shirts, Where's Hunter, Where's Hunter, Where's Hunter? It took a life of its own and became this big thing. But now the question is, following November 3rd, 2020, where's Kamala? Isn't Kamala supposed to be out here championing all of these activist groups, pushing all of these progressive talking points and progressive rhetoric? Isn't she supposed to be the champion of the progressive left? Where is she? Well, it seems she's in the basement, and probably for good reason. You know, the Democrats, even though we rag on them pretty much 24/7 and constantly expose their abundant hypocrisy, one thing they are not is stupid. And the one thing you should never do is underestimate your opponents. The Democrats know how to win elections. They win elections with counterintuitive and detrimental policies to the exact people that vote for them. You gotta be an absolute genius to figure that one out. And credit where credit is due, whether or not I think they're absolutely despicable or not in their actions. The Democrats have created a racket to push for social justice policy, to campaign on it, all the while those pushing it and those elected into office are the ones who are responsible for the exact issues they campaign on. It's absolutely mind-boggling and absolutely genius. It's evil genius at its best. And speaking of that exact notion, who is the pinnacle, probably the best example of it? Well, it's Kamala Harris. Her voting track record would make you think, wow, she's so progressive. She signed on to eliminate cow farting on the AOC bill. Wow, she must be a champion for the intersectionality left. Well, no, what she really is a political snake who's done everything and anything to jump up in her career, climb the pedestal of power, and more importantly, she's done everything to ensure that she keeps people in jail even if they don't deserve it. And Kamala is caught up in a serious scandal right now, folks. It's been revealed that she failed to prosecute a single documented case of abuse towards minors by priests as California AG. Yep. So interestingly enough, she did everything in her power to prosecute people on minor drug offenses, non-violent drug offenses, and then kept them in jail for longer than their sentence. She hid evidence that would have exonerated multiple men for crimes they didn't commit, but she failed to prosecute a single case of the most egregious crime of all time. Interesting. So I'm going to show you the story as well as some others, but before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, and with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright, so here we go, right from the Post-Millennial, one of my favorite publications. Revealed, Kamala Harris failed to prosecute a single documented case of minor abuse by priests as California AG. When Senator Kamala Harris was California's top prosecutor, she failed to prosecute a single case, and her office reportedly hid records documenting these crimes against children. While serving as San Francisco's district attorney for 7 years, put that into perspective, 7 years, and she didn't prosecute a single case, in California being the pinnacle, the core of all Protect the Children rallies, by the way. But wait, it gets even worse. And then as California's attorney general for an additional 6 years. So 7 years straight as district attorney, added on top of that 6 years as attorney general. 13 years straight without a single case. Harris never brought a single documented case forward against an abusive priest, wrote Peter Schweizer in Profiles in Corruption's Abuse of Power by America's Progressive Elite. During her decade-and-a-half tenure as chief prosecutor, Harris would fail to prosecute a single case of priest abuse, and her office would strangely hide vital records on abuses that had occurred despite the protests of victim groups. The New York Times bestselling author alleged his investigative work is backed by a mountain of corporate documents and legal filings from around the globe. Schweizer suggested that the primary reason for her soft approach towards abuse in the Roman Catholic Church was due to political debt she owed prominent Catholics in the Bay Area. Her predecessor, an opponent in the district attorney's race, Vincent Hallinan, was aggressively pursuing such abuse cases and threatened to bring dozens of these incidents to light. His gathering of incriminating evidence drove those implicated Catholics afraid of his findings into Harris's arms. And so there you have it, folks. Once again, Kamala Harris, the candidate who's supposed to go after and fix tough issues and stand on the right side of history, has a total track record of doing the exact opposite, doing what's politically expedient, doing what's going to get her to that next position of power, doing, of course, what's in the interest of her political donors, rather than doing what's right. This is the vice presidential candidate of the Democrat Party. It continues and continues and continues. It's the plague of California, the plague within progressive coastal elitist cities and states. Here's another one. California releases minor killer back onto the streets in defiance of ICE orders. Of course, what's more woke than releasing somebody who was responsible for ending the life of a minor? How woke? California being as woke as ever, with this beautiful video right here from another California California celebrity, showing exactly why California should dictate elections and the Electoral College should be definitely abolished like Hillary Clinton wants. Check out Lil Nas X, doing exactly what you'd expect from a woke Californian.
Congratulations.
Get rid of it.
Wow, thanks Lil Nas X. Aren't these people just amazing? But let's continue into the liberal hypocrisy on the progressive left. Representative Ayanna Pressley, prominent member of the Squad. Listen to her at this rally.
And I still believe Dr. Christine Blasey Ford.
So she says, we have 2 alleged predators on the bench, and she's obviously referring to Kavanaugh and Clarence Thomas. She continues to say, the highest court of the land with the power to determine our reproductive freedoms. And I still believe Dr. Christine Blasey Ford. Okay, well, with that logic, I'm assuming what she's referring to is believe all women. What about Tara Reid, who had a very credible accusation against your literal president-elect? Well, I'm sure you don't believe that one, or you do, but you purposely hide it because politics, and just like Kamala Harris, climbing the ranks of power is more important to you than doing the right thing or your conscience, or lack thereof. What about Andrew Cuomo in the most recent scandal? Anything to say there? No, probably not, because it only matters if it targets a Republican. Not to mention, the only reason some of these allegations probably even exist is because they're Republicans in the first place. To pretend as if Christine Blasey Ford's completely discredited story even exists in the first place is, of course, because the Democrats didn't want another Supreme Court justice on the Republican side. It's as simple as that, folks, and if you believe anything else, well, we're just operating on completely 2 different planets. Trend continues and the trend continues. Speaking of the trend continuing, you guys remember this story that we covered the other day. Revealed Georgia media suppressed story of Democrat Senate candidate Warnock's arrest related to minor abuse investigation. Another man, another Democrat, who specifically impeded an investigation into another one of these cases. Liars, 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 who do nothing but pander and politicize tragedy. If you haven't woken up to the fact that the Democrat Party has no intention of actually solving any of the issues that you care about, then you're sleeping. And once again, we're operating in 2 completely different universes. The Democrat Party has proven itself to be incompetent, and not only incompetent, corrupt from the start. They're not incompetent because they're stupid, they're incompetent because they don't want to work for you. And on surface level, it just ends up looking like pure incompetence. They work for the elitist, they work for foreign and local interest groups. That's it. They don't work for you. They use you, and then the moment they get elected, they drop you faster than you can possibly imagine. Like what's actively happening right now with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris refusing to even meet with BLM. You think that's accidental? You think it's a coincidence? No, it's exactly what we predicted, and it's playing out like that because it's just the reality of the situation. Wake up, folks. If you're voting for the Democrats, and honestly, even if you're voting for the GOP establishment, you're getting exactly that, status quo establishment. It's time to vote for some new, fresh, young blood, because these politicians of old and these paid out Washington goons have no interest in working for you or the things you care about. Prime example, every single Democrat runs on taxing the rich. Name a single Democrat who ever actually implemented it. Pretty sure Obama's tax code did nothing but create loopholes for mega billionaires to pay less and less in taxes. Wake up, folks. It's a racket and you're the useful pawn. Without your naivete, none of it even exists. So that's what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm. Now I gotta get back to work because there's of course a whole lot of hypocrisy, mostly liberal hypocrisy, that must be exposed on a daily basis. So I'm gonna get to that. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.